I want to talk a little bit today about movement, because movement is so important in keeping our bodies healthy and preventing injuries from happening in the first place. And frankly, everybody needs to move better. In modern life, we spend far too much time sitting and inactive, and we never experience full ranges of motion, for example, in the shoulder, reaching overhead. We don't really do that very often. We never really bend our backs backwards, and so that often becomes an issue. And we never really extend our hips very much either. Now, what I'm not saying is that you need to go and stretch more, because stretching is very different to movement. In the brain, there is a map of the body, and I'll often describe this like a Google Maps of the body. And by exploring our range of motion, we're able to update that map. Now, roughly every joint has to be able to move in 6 directions: up, down, side to side, and rotate in either way. And so what we really need to do is make sure that you can move every single one of your joints in each one of those 6 directions at all times. Because if you can't, you'll then start to compensate. And it's these compensations that build up over time that often lead to injury. So why do we often say no to stretching? Well, if you want to be good at stretching, stretch more. But if you want to be good at moving, move more. We don't want to overcomplicate it, because all that stretching does is increase your tolerance to that stretch. And often we say, oh, I'm stretching a tight muscle. But why is it tight in the first place? That's the question we always need to ask. And it's because the brain needs it to be. It wants it to be. And so it doesn't matter how often and how much you try to stretch it, it will usually tighten up back again. But if we can explore the movement of that joint instead of thinking on the muscle, and we can show the brain that it can move in all these different directions, then perhaps then it doesn't need to protect that joint so much, and it will allow the muscle to relax. We need to stop villainizing tight muscles and tight joints and just thinking about trying to loosen them all the time. We need to instead start considering, how can I improve my overall movement and health? And then generally the tightness will sort itself out. So what does this look like? What is it that you can do to help get you there? It's really not complicated. 10 to 15 minutes a day of joint movement is all it takes. But it takes you doing that every day for weeks or months. And we'll sometimes use the idea of compound interest. The more consistent you are and the more regular you are, the better dividends are going to pay out. You're going to receive a better outcome. Because the joints require movement for their health. And maintaining a good degree of movement in those joints will frankly prevent injury and prevent pain in most cases.